Hi everyone, Baker on the Dark Side. So tomorrow is my daughter's birthday and she's up at college. Typically I used to make her very large extravagant cakes because she's an athlete and she's in training right now. She's asked me to make small individual cakes. So I am going to make a cake that I've made before in my pastry days. It is a flourless chocolate cake. And my daughter is a peanut butter and chocolate fanatic, so I'm going to be adding a chocolate peanut butter, maybe frosting to it to make it a little more special. But for right now, we're going to do the flourless cake. So as I said, we have melted chocolate and butter together. It's 3/4 of a cup of butter, 6 ounces of bittersweet or semi-sweet chocolate, depends how deep you want the chocolate to be. The bittersweet will make it a little darker. She doesn't like really dark chocolate, so I use semi-sweet. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 1 1/3 cup of white sugar. So this is a real simple cake. And this is a small cake. This will make an 8-inch round. So what I've done with this 8-inch round ahead of time is that I have put a parchment in here. And I've greased the pan underneath, and then I've greased the parchment on top. So it's very greased. You want the bottoms and the sides to be completely greased. Then later, what I'm going to do after it's baked is I'm going to cut these little circles out. I'm going to make 2 double layer individual cakes. You can use a biscuit cutter or you can use a wine glass. It's up to you. I measured it inside to make sure that there would be 4. So there is. So now I've got the sugar and the chocolate in there. You see that? Okay. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to add your eggs. So it's 1.25 cups of eggs, approximately 6 large eggs. So I'm going to whisk this in. This is a cake you can use with a mixer, but you could just do it so easily by hand. I'm using a whip, and I'm just trying to get this smooth. This is a cake that does not have any flour, so the only thing that's giving it body is the eggs and the cocoa powder. So I have whipped this. It's nice and whipped. Okay. Now you're going to add your vanilla. In the bakery, we used to add vanilla, and we used to add espresso powder. Espresso powder is got a coffee flavor to it. My daughter is one of the few people in the world that probably doesn't like coffee, so I'm not going to add the coffee. So I'm just going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Fake or real, it's up to you. If you want to add the coffee powder, you would add 1/2 teaspoon of coffee powder to give it that coffee flavor. Or you could have a coffee extract. That would work as well. All right, so that is all in there. So now it looks like this. So it's kind of like this gooey mess, like slime, like chocolate slime. Okay. The last thing we're going to add is I've sifted 3/4 cup of cocoa powder. So I am going to put that in. I sifted it. Make sure there was no lumps. I'm going to get this all out. And you're going to stir that in. Trying to go easy on this now, a little bit. Not too hard. You could use a spoon. You could use a whip. So my plan is to make this like a peanut butter cup in the end. And I'm going to make a peanut butter buttercream later that we're going to put with a cream cheese in it, because I do like that tang. So I'm going to switch it back over to the whip because it is making a mess. I'm making a mess. Yes, I'm making a mess. I like making messes, but I don't like cleaning the messes. So I'm going to try to whip this. My arms are getting a workout today. This is a good way to get your arms worked out. The problem is that you can't work out the other one. So you're only going to work out one because you, unless you're ambidextrous, which if you are, then you can work out both. But I would say that I am not. So you want to get this cocoa powder in here good, and it is taking a while. I don't think I'm as strong as I thought I was. All right. I'm getting stronger. I just want to make sure I get this evenly in there. That's why I'm using the whip. Whew. I am sweating. I'm sweating. Okay. Woo! That was a workout. Okay. So now I'm just going to make sure the bottoms and the sides are all scraped and everything's incorporated. So I'm glad I did this because there was a little bit still on the bottom and the sides that wasn't incorporated. And now you have this very luxurious cake batter. So nice. Okay, so you're gonna pour this into this pan. Did you see how easy that was? I mean, you can make this decadent cake that quickly. How long did it take me? 6 minutes. 6 minutes, and I've made a cake. A very decadent cake. So see, you don't have to always go to the cake mixes. All right, so this is gonna be a very fudgy cake. And one of the things that I usually do when I bake it too, to keep it that way, is I usually put a cup of hot water in there with it, almost like I'm doing my cheesecakes. And I kind of steam it a little bit to keep it moist. So I don't know if they ever told you this, but in baking school, if you want to get rid of bubbles, you tap the pan. They actually have machines that tap the pans in factories to get the air bubbles out so that you don't get pockets of air in your cake. Yeah, it's really cool. I went to an assembly line factory once where they made Entenmann's cakes, and it's pretty cool. All right, so I've done that. It's gonna go in the oven. Now I bake it at 300 degrees, and usually, you know, somewhere around, I don't know, 40 minutes. I like to do it low and slow. You want to make sure that you don't overbake it and that the toothpick comes out clean. I will show you what it looks like when it's done, and you'll get to see how I decorate.